So I just saw someone on LinkedIn talking about this particular floor plan and how great it was, how functional it was. And it fired me up enough to make this video because it's not functional at all. And I actually hate this floor plan and we'll show you why. So this is, keep in mind, this was someone in the real estate industry. Their job is to sell you real estate. But I also think if you're going to spend, your life savings and hundreds of thousands of dollars on something, I imagine you want them to sell you something that sort of works for you and actually is functional in how you live your life. And this isn't that. This isn't functional at all. So it's 502 square feet. Not very big. I mean, that's kind of small as far as condos go, and that's where they were kind of making their pitch, right? Because 500 square feet, typically if you buy a condo that size, you're getting a one bedroom plus a den or maybe like a big storage room, but you're not getting the two bedrooms. And that's why they were saying this is so great. It fits a sort of a target market that just isn't being served in the real estate industry. And I imagine that's probably a young couple with a kid. Probably is their ideal demographic, right? Because if you're one person working from home, even you have a one bedroom, your den down here is your office, that's fine. If you have two people, even then, if they're both working from home, you only need one bedroom. You have an office over here with one or two desks in the den, maybe you have another desk in the bedroom or wherever in the living room. You can make it work. The only people that really need that second bedroom are couples with a third person. You have a child that they need a private space, or maybe two kids. So that leads me to believe that this is for three people. And keep that in mind as we're going to break this down. There's not just one person living in this, or you'd buy a one bedroom plus a den. This is three people living in this condo. And that's why it's really not functional. Although, honestly, it wouldn't be that functional for one person anyway. And we'll get into it right now. So, you walk in the door. Here's your front door. You walk in. Where do you hang your jacket? Where do you put your shoes and your boots? It's raining. Where do you put your umbrella? There's nothing here. You have one closet, but it's got a stacked washer and dryer in there. So that's what, like 8 feet tall. You could maybe put your shoes on there if you're tall. There's definitely nowhere to hang a jacket. You have a fridge on this side. There's nothing. Maybe you have a coat hook. You can hang two jackets. Where do you put your shoes? Let alone shoes for three people, right? Don't forget that. This is for three people. Um, there's nowhere for your outdoor stuff at all. There's just nothing there. Is what it is. Okay, so you overcome that somehow. You walk in. Now you're in the kitchen. Um, Again, not super functional. This is for three people. That table that they're showing though, that only seats two. You're gonna have to have a bigger table with three seats. At least. Um, if you're not going to do that, you're probably going to do something like maybe an island or something. Like in the future, you could modify this counter and add an island or something, or a peninsula down here with some bar seats. But the way they're showing it, it doesn't work. You're going to need a bigger table, you're going to need more seats, and that just eats up more and more of that kitchen space. What else? Where do we even begin? Let's talk about a big one. Bedroom. They're saying this is a second bedroom. Well, guess what? A lot of building codes, at least in Canada, if you have what is actually called a bedroom, and not a den, you need a window. You need a light source just for sort of quality of life, so that you're not living in a dark cave all the time. And guess what? This bedroom, where's your window? There isn't one. This is an interior wall. This is an interior wall. You have nothing. There's no skylight. So you're just living in the dark. So in a lot of places, you literally couldn't even call this a bedroom. Um, it just wouldn't pass. You wouldn't get a building permit. You'd have to call it a den or something, and people would still use it as a bedroom. But to sell it as a two bedroom, it's a stretch. So that's one. The way they're even showing this just doesn't even make sense to me, right? Because, like I said, three people. Realistically, that's a small child. This is probably only a single bed. Why do you have a massive bed in there for this kid? Because if you have a bed that big, it holds two people, right? But guess what? You can't even get into this side of the bed. It's right up against the wall. So they know they're showing it for three because it's against the wall. You can only get in one side. Why not show this as a smaller bed, right? Maybe it goes on this wall, something like that. You have your pillow down here, and then you still could do a desk or something up here. Or this could even be a pull-out couch, right? You can imagine that. And then when you do need it to be a bed, you pull it out. There you go. There's your bedroom. But as they're showing it, I think that's brutal. Small closet, but I mean, is what it is. That's just how condos are these days. All right, what's next? Um, the washroom. All right, you got three people living in here. You got toilet paper, you got toothbrushes, you got toothpaste, whatever shampoo. That's it. That's all you have. You have nowhere to put your towels. Um, I mean, you can hang them up. If you have three people, maybe you have a towel rack right there, or maybe on the back of this door. But that's it. You have nowhere to store clean ones, or your extra toilet paper, or whatever you need, unless it's under the sink, and that doesn't hold very much when you have three people. So that's as small as you can get for a bathroom. Is what it is. You're paying for a small condo. I guess you get a small bathroom. Sure. Next. All right, let's work our way up to the master bedroom up here. At a glance, again, this is probably the best thing about this condo, to be honest. It's a decent sized bedroom. You have a nice big window. You get lots of light coming in this way, sure. You have a little bit of space here. I don't know why they're not showing something because you should have, a dresser, some built-ins, some kind of a storage there because, God knows you need it in this place because you have no closets. Because look at this, right? This is your closet for two people. I don't know if any of you share a bedroom with somebody else, but there's no way. There's no way you can fit all your stuff in there, especially when you don't have a closet out here for your jackets and boots and whatever. Two people have to split this little closet? Okay. I mean, it's a stretch, but sure. We can imagine that. Other than that, I don't mind the bedroom. This pocket door, I should say, I drop this way. You can see it slides out of the way so that you just kind of have nice access to the washroom. Honestly, I think it's a waste because if you have that second bedroom, that means you have a third person using this washroom. You know your kid's going out this way. Pocket doors are super loud. Like they're not good for noise transmission, anything like that. You're going to have to constantly be shutting it. This would only be nice if it's like a one bedroom condo and it's a couple or you're a single person and they just leave that sliding door basically open all the time unless they have company over, right? In this case, I think it's a complete waste. You're better off to leave that as a solid wall. You put your towel bars and stuff on there. You get a little more functional wall space out of it, plus some sound transmission, a little insulation from the noises going on in the washroom, which is always nice. Okay, what else? Work our way around. We're in the living room now. Living room's okay. They're showing basically this couch with a little sort of chaise lounge section sticking out there. Sure, but where's your TV? Whoops, back that up. Your TV's here. It's so funny. This is so small. Literally, the TV that they're showing doesn't fit on the wall. It overhangs right there. Can you see that? It doesn't even fit on the wall. So, you get a 40-inch TV max, or whatever it is. You can't go beyond that, let alone put like a little TV stand underneath it, because then guess what? You can't get out to your deck because there's just no space in here. So you get a TV on the wall with nothing below it, and you're probably going to bump into it. As you're walking in and out through your patio, you're going to smash into the TV, knock it off the wall. Everyone's upset. So don't love that. And there's nowhere else you could put it. I mean, you could mount a TV over here, I guess, in the kitchen, but then he still can't put anything else there. Like it has to go there because you can't. There's no room for furniture there. So anyway, kind of ridiculous. What else? The deck, not terrible. I mean, the way they're showing it, no one puts their deck like this, right? If you have a table for two, it's going to be up against this glass up here, so you have some free space. You get some planters in there, or maybe you have your row of planters up against the balcony and then your table. But this is right in the middle. No one does that. Plus, guess what? You probably want to have a bike out here, right? Good luck getting that through. You're taking it out through your whole apartment, and you're bumping into stuff every time you're right there. So it's fine. It is what it is. It's functional-ish. I've seen worse, but it is what it is. Okay, what else do we have? Um, in terms of the living room, they're showing a decent-sized couch. Holds three people, which we've kind of established we need to have that. But you don't even have space for like a floor lamp. Like there's not really space in there. There's not really space in there. So you have, I guess, a big overhead light that's just kind of gross and uncomfortable. And you want a reading light. Well, guess what? You don't really have one. You don't get a little table to set your drink down. All you have is this. That's basically your living room furniture. I don't love it. I don't know. It's not great. Anything else? What else did I have here? Dining room? Nah, there's no space for lamps. TV doesn't fit. I mean, that's kind of it. You just imagine how are you gonna live in this? There's also no counter space, right? Like here's your kitchen. Just coming back to this. You have like what, 2.5 feet there, maybe 2 feet there, 2 feet there between the stove and the fridge. You kind of like 6 feet of counter space. Um, Minus your toaster, your coffee maker, your microwave. You have no space for anything. You can't cook really in this place. There's just no space. And it's just, man, it bothers me so much when you walk in and like, where do you hang your jacket? Like so when people say that these are functional, that's why it really bothers me because you have to think about how people live in these spaces. And at a glance, you're like, yeah, sure, it's a nice two-bedroom condo. It's efficient. It's only 500 square feet. It works. Great for the developer. They can make a few bucks. You can fit more people in it. But it's not functional for how people live. Like people just have stuff when you live, you know? You have a closet here. You have a closet here. That's it. You have two tiny closets for three people, and it's not enough space for people to live. Especially 502 square feet. You know, prices around here right now are like what is it? It's like $1,000 a square foot. So this is like a $500,000 condo plus condo fees. Not cheap. So that's what you're paying. Every penny you have, and you're getting basically a shoebox that doesn't support your lifestyle. So anyway, I just had to make a video on this because this floor plan is definitely not functional. And when people say it's functional, they clearly don't live in something like this because they wouldn't say that. So anyway, we'll end it there. We can wrap it up. I really hope that developers just come up with some better stuff. You know what I mean? We need more space. We need to live. Nobody wants to live like this. Looks great on paper, but then as soon as you move in there within a couple of weeks, you're like, man, what am I doing? What did I spend my money on? Nothing. You spent it on a big old empty space. So anyway, we'll end it there. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.